Whoa, 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 whoa. It's the illusion reporting from somewhere on spaceship Earth. It's Sober Wednesday. And the opening of Sober Wednesday is always hectic screen movement, dude, because that's the alcoholic mind, right? It's Sober Wednesday, dude. Don't call it a comeback. We've been here for years, dude. We've been here for years, dude. I think we're almost to year 15. Year 15 of I'm 14 years sober. Yeah, we're I guess 14 years of YouTube. I guess, dude, we're moving on the thing. Anyway, dude, we're here, dude. Dan Z, Orangutan, 365 days of Adam, dude. Salvatore. Dude, it took me a minute to figure out who you are. I don't know why, dude, but what's going on, my San Diego brother? Orangutan, Justin, Segamufo, Brian Pipes, yeah, Illusions, staying alive in the 805. That's right. Oso Taylor, yo, yo, yo. So I figured in the whole revival of it all is it's probably time to get the Sober Wednesdays up and running. I think I need them too, and kind of dial it in. I'm trying to dial the whole scene back in, man. What seems like a Talons Out Ranch. That's right. Thank you for putting the links up, Orangutan. I do appreciate that. So Sober Wednesday, dude. Let me get back from the preamble. It's been a little bit, dude. I don't know how long we took a Sober Wednesday break for, but a while. I think it was good. So Sober Wednesday, it's a live stream dedicated to those who suffer, dude, because ultimately sobriety has to do with not putting substances in your body, but it's also a mental and a spiritual condition that we're aiming to achieve. So and we achieve that sobriety by having a relationship with the God of our understanding. That's up to you to figure out. And we put down the substances, whether they be cakes, cookies, credit card debt, gambling, overweight, underweight, sex, crack, alcohol, weed, the pot weed, booze, wine, beer, whiskey, absinthe, mushrooms, LSD, the weird stuff they take in the jungle, dude. Whatever it is, right? Pills, dude. Pills. Doctor prescribed pills. Pizzas. Buying things. Whatever it is to get you out of your spiritual condition, right? And why we do this is because we're using the substances to deviate us from our own inability to be at peace with ourselves, because we have used these substances as medicine for our discomfort here, and it's blocked us from having the spiritual condition, which is based upon discomfort and a lot of hard work and doing all that. So what I have found along the way is that this sober state of mind is hard to achieve and even harder to maintain. And in order to get there, it takes a tribe, it takes a bunch of people, it takes reaching out, it takes sitting in a live stream. It takes whatever it takes, but it's not an isolator's sport. Isolation is the devil's workshop, and in that isolation, it's pretty easy to start feeling defeated because self cannot reveal self to self, dude. If there's anything that is true to the ability to overcome your own personal condition by yourself is a pretty extreme operation, and I would say, lotto card equivalent, but we all can get there. I mean, that is the moment of clarity, right? We all get to the thing where the medicines aren't working, whether they be the pizzas, the crack pipes, the promiscuity, whatever it is. We get to a point where we finally like have no other solution but to ask somebody for help. And that's what ultimately this hour is for, is to get to the place where you either want to ask somebody for help, or you've asked somebody for help and you just want to be reminded that it's okay to need help, or you just want to see what's going on under the hood, dude, here on the on Sober Wednesday. So all I ask is that if you're new to the thing, you just try not to disrupt the chat, and we keep the chat open for someone who may be suffering out there. And we go from there, dude. So I used to read chapter 5 from the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. Let's make this clear. This is not affiliated with AA. This is not an AA meeting. This is not AA in any way. But what I have found is that how it works, this little 2-page thing here is a pretty good outline and blueprint for how to affect change in your own life. And it's a guide to how to get spiritually fit and how to maintain your spiritual fitness, because the only way you really can maintain your spiritual fitness is by being of service to others, man. You got to give it away to keep it, right? You got to give it away to keep it. Give it away, give it away, give it away now. Am I a kingpin or a papa? Okay, so I'm going to read chapter 5 on page 58 from the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. And we'll go from there, dude. We're gonna do that, yo. How it works. Rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed our path. Those who do not recover are people who cannot and will not completely give themselves the simple program. Usually men and women who are constitutionally incapable of being honest with themselves. There are such unfortunates. They're not at fault. They seem to have been born that way. They're naturally incapable of grasping and developing a manner of living which demands rigorous honesty. Their chances are less than average. There are those, too, who suffer from a grave emotional and mental disorder, but many of them do recover if they have the capacity to be honest. Our stories disclose in a general way what we used to be like, what happened, and what we're like now. If you've decided you want what we have and are willing to go to any length to get it, then you're ready to take certain steps. At some of these we balked. We thought we could find an easier, softer way, but we could not. With all the earnestness at our command, we beg of you to be fearless and thorough from the very start. Some of us have tried to hold on to our old ideas, and the result was nil until we let go. Absolutely. Remember that we deal with alcohol, cunning, baffling, powerful. Without help, it is too much for us. But there is one who has all power. That one is God. May you find him now. Half measures availed. You like how I blew that line over, the key to the whole thing. There is one who has all power. That one is God. May you find him now. Yeah, right there. Half measures availed us nothing. We stood at the turning point. We asked his protection and care with complete abandon. Here are the steps we took, which are suggested as a program of recovery from whatever it may be that you need to recover from. We admitted we were powerless over insert trauma, rape, abuse, alcohol, chips, cookies, weight, sex, gambling, debt, whatever it is, dude. We admitted we were powerless over that thing and that our lives had become unmanageable. 2, came to believe a power greater than ourselves. Notice that in the 1, that's the only time we got to really deal with that thing. We admitted we were powerless over insert whatever it is, that our lives had become unmanageable. 2, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. 3, made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood him. 4, made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. 5, admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. 6, we're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. 7, humbly asked him to remove our shortcomings. 8, made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. 9, made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. 10, continued to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. 11, sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood him, praying only for the knowledge of his will for us and the power to carry that out. 12, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we try to carry this message to alcoholics and practice these principles in all of our affairs. Many of us exclaimed, "What in order? I cannot go through with it." Do not be discouraged. No one among us has been able to maintain anything like perfect adherence to these principles. We're not saints. The point is that we're willing to grow along spiritual lines. The principles we have set down are guides to progress. We claim spiritual progress rather than spiritual perfection. Our description of the alcoholic, the chapter of the agnostic, and our personal adventures before and after make clear 3 pertinent ideas. That A, we're alcoholic and could not manage our own lives. B, that probably no human power could have relieved our alcoholism. And C, that God could and would if he were sought. There you have it. I always look for the one thing that always kind of trips me out as I'm reading. And because it's always something new. And it's this, is having had a step 12, right? The final step of this whole thing, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we try to carry this message to alcoholics and practice these principles in all of our affairs. Like the 12th step is just having had a spiritual awakening. That's the key to the whole thing, dude. Having had a spiritual awakening is the key to the whole thing. And that's why we need to put down the drugs and the alcohol and the pizzas and the weird people that we're sleeping with that we don't care about, and the gambling and the this and the that's and the this and the that's, right? We're trying to have a spiritual awakening, right? Because that's our mission here on Spaceship Earth, is to have a spiritual awakening so that we can return home, man, back to our spiritual condition, right? And when I think about it, right, I think about it like, you know, for many of us, what activated our ism, right? Our alcoholism. And I just want you to know, alcoholism is like probably the worst word ever, because alcoholism really has nothing to do with alcohol. Like, even though it's got it in its root word, like alcoholism has to do about this lack of spirituality, dude, this brokenness inside of ourselves, because we have this God-sized hole in the middle of us and we don't know how to fill it. And how that God-sized hole got put there, it's a journey of self-discovery. And I don't even think it's truly, we need to even understand it completely, but we have to understand what we've done to enlarge it and what we've done to mask it, right? And that's the fearless and searching moral inventory of step 4, right? Is we all came here, if I wouldn't, whatever your spiritual practice is, almost all of them talk about this situation, right? That we have this break from our spiritual truth, our everlasting spiritual relationship with God, and that break is the initial trauma, and all the traumas that come after that just add to the initial trauma, right? And so what do? We go and we use things that shifted our body chemistry so that we could have an experience that closely approximated the removal and the filling of the spiritual hole, right? So, you know, we went and we drank, right? And we drank and we forgot we had a spiritual hole, where the hole was masked or filled or deadened or numbed or whatever it is. And then we could maybe see what the potentiality was for the spiritual condition. We could see it out there. We got a glimpse of it, dude. You know, most people who are, I come from the alcoholic perspective of, I drank alcohol, dude. I didn't gamble. I didn't eat pizzas. I didn't, you know, sleep with weird people. I didn't steal. I didn't do all the things that many people have done besides drink alcohol and do drugs. I took alcohol and drugs to approximate this spiritual condition, man. And I remember these things. I remember the beginning. I remember driving down Interstate 1, smoking weed and coming over the little rise just south of of Morro Bay and stuff on the way to Los Olivos, where you get the rolling hills, and just being so stoned, and it's just the velvet hills. And ooh, dude, I remember all of that, dude. I remember the connectivity to something greater than myself in the beginning with the drugs and the alcohol. Sure, that's why I like took psychedelics. I'm a scientist, dude. I'm gonna go touch the feet of God. I'm gonna go do all these things, right? And they worked. They absolutely worked in the beginning. The drugs, the alcohol, the things, they worked to make me understand that there was something out there that was beyond this God-sized hole inside of my spiritual condition, right? Did I understand it? Absolutely not. Was I looking for this thing knowingly, like some sort of Arctic explorer? No, absolutely not, dude. I was just another dude going about my business in whatever this was in the 80s, and was like, oh, that will work. And it worked. And then it built a lifestyle around it, right? So it wasn't like I went out and did this thing and then just went back to Kansas, dude. No, I began to create Oz, dude. I created this world of like-minded people around me, fellow travelers on this journey of denial and nihilism and self-involvement on the discovery of some sort of greater plateau, dude. Like, yeah, we were all intrepid explorers. I can't say I come from the school of drugs and alcohol because I'm covering misery, dude. No, drugs and alcohol were like a frontiersman. I came from that frontiersman perspective of drugs and alcohol. I wasn't using drugs and alcohol in the beginning to run from anything, dude. I was using it to run to something, dude. I was using it as fuel, as inspiration, as dynamo, man. And so I wasn't drinking because of things back at home, dude. I had parents that are still married to this day. I grew up in a mellow household with standard issues, dude. No one touched me inappropriately as a child in the locker room or any, and none of the stuff that you hear. And I'm not diminishing. I'm just saying is I think the alcoholism for me, what was one that was almost tougher to overcome in the beginning, because when I got sober, I heard stories that were people that came from broken down worlds and trailers and abusive rich parents that left their children to the nannies to be sodomized and this and that, so like when I got there, I was like, like pretty much a straight shooter, dude. Like I was just a drunk and like a drug addict who had just missed some boat that at the harbor of life, dude, while I was a frontiersman. You know what I mean? Like, and because I had missed that boat somewhere in that thing, like, yeah, the normalness of being just a renegade made me a slave, dude, to it. And yeah, I couldn't return back to Kansas, and I didn't know the way back, dude. I didn't know if I could click my heels at any time and return back to Kansas. I didn't know how to do that. I didn't know that was even an option. I was one of these people that was like, I've driven myself out into the middle of the desert, and now I have to deal with this situation. I didn't realize I could click my heels at any time and go back home. Like, oh, and maybe I didn't want to go back home either, dude. You know, like that thing of like, I wasn't looking to return back to Kansas either, dude. I was trying to get to Mars, man, or the other side of the universe, or whatever it was I was trying to do. So yeah, like I'm not one to sit here and condemn the process. My whole angle with this thing is to help anyone shorten the process. Because what I found with this process of from the moment of like that this stuff works to solve my human condition and get me closer to some sort of alleviating of the pain of the human condition, to the ultimate acceptance of the pain of the human condition to use as a building block to achieve a greater human, spiritual, emotional, mental condition. That journey for me took 25 years, 30, 28 years, from I was 12 to 40, like 28 years, dude. That's a long time banging your head against the wall, dude. That is a long time to be walking out on a limb, dude. That is a long pier, dude, out into the ocean. That is a long walk through the Arctic snow to the North Pole, dude. That's a long journey, right? 28 years, dude. And there's people that are way longer on that journey and aren't planning on stopping anytime soon, dude, right? And so here we are, right? So here we are. So like I do talk to anyone right now is you can click your heels at any given moment, dude. You can realize that you are powerless over your situation and that it's unmanageable because you know it is, dude, or you wouldn't even, I don't know. I want to say you wouldn't be debating it, but I think at a certain point in the haze of it all, I don't think I was debating it either, dude. I was just out like, damn the torpedoes, dude. I didn't know there was a way out. And I think that's what I'm trying to offer here is I can only speak from my journey within the elaborate prison of false freedom through drugs and alcohol, that I didn't know there was a way out. And if you would, and I don't think anyone was telling me there was a way out. It was way over there. It was some abstract thing. No one really said that, dude, all you got to do is like raise your hand and be like, can I have some help? And a bunch of people would come out of the woodwork and be like, yeah, let's get you sober, dude. That would have been too abstract for me. But I think if someone had spoken from the perspective of it's okay, right? It's okay. I was we were talking about something in at our trustees meeting at church, dude, about, and the pastor had us reading something, and it was all about raising children and how children, you know, they have their mission, dude. And what is your role as a parent? It's not to save them from getting lost in the woods. That's not your job. Is not to helicopter and protect your children from getting lost in the woods. Your job is to teach your children how to get unlost from the woods, right? And I think that's what I speak to with these Sober Wednesdays and my perspective on getting sober and where I stand with it is my job is not to say don't get lost in the woods. My job is to sit here and say it's okay to get lost in the woods. Probably a good thing to get lost in the woods, but how do you get unlost from the woods? Like, how do you get out of this jungle you've gotten yourself lost into, you know? And it's funny, you know, I have a small child. We go out into the woods and do the thing, and we talk about it, dude. He has his little water backpack with his whistle, and I remember it being a long time to get him to want to wear his water backpack with this thing and why it was important. And then the understanding of like, look, if you ever do get lost, like, to hug a tree and stay where you are and allow yourself to be lost for a minute, and then help can find you, dude. It's the denial of being lost that gets you to wander around in the woods instead of just going, I am lost. Let me just stop for a moment. Like, and I can only tell you that's how I got sober, is I was lost in the woods, and I stopped at that moment with Joe and David in front of the liquor store, and I asked for help. So I blew the whistle, dude, whatever your metaphor is or analogy or whatever it is. And so, you know, when I talk to the thing is we're inevitably going to get lost. But I will point this in the North and in the continental United States. This is a random thing. I believe the furthest you can get away from a road, like the furthest you can get away from a road, is 10 miles in the continental United States. That's how gridded out it is. Like, you can get lost in the continental United States, but you'll never be more than 10 miles from a road. I believe that's the number. And it's not a paved road. It's like a Forest Service road, and, you know, where, you know, because you go, oh, well, what about the middle of the wilderness in Idaho? I still believe that's accurate, dude. It's about 10 miles, which means from one road to another is 20. That's huge, dude, right? So again, is it's, and I could be totally wrong about that. I heard that somewhere along the way. And so we're never really that far from help, dude. It's just that we get lost and we end up walking in circles, man. You hear the story of the people who don't hug the tree, right? Why do we hug the tree, dude? Why do we hug? So the rescuers can come and find us, dude, right? Because so the rescue operation works in a grid pattern, right? People come out to rescue you. If you were to ever watch anyone get rescued, search and rescue thing, they don't just go out and just wander around. They have a grid pattern, and they go and approach it in a grid pattern, because the great out there-ness of the world is vast. So you approach it in a grid pattern, right? And it's coordinated, and people know where they're going and where they've been. But if you're lost and you don't stay still the moment you realized you're lost, because fear of being lost ultimately is what gets people permanently lost, i.e. dead, is because they needed to just be okay with being lost, right? Like, knowing if you're out in the woods or the forest or wherever, and you're going out in there, you should have an understanding that you're going to potentially get lost. It might be a fluke. You might be a person who never leaves the trail, but still there's a potentiality of you getting lost for some reason, right? So that's what I would suggest in this thing, is like, yes, you want to drink alcohol because you're young or whatever, and you got it under control, and it's relatively benign or whatever it is. Understand that your potentiality for getting lost is there. You might just be a normie. You might just be like a good old American kid who goes to the kegger and then goes to college and then goes and gets a career and whatever, dude. And it was never a big deal. Or you could be that same kid that goes to the kegger, that dates me, doesn't it? Kegger, and then goes to college and gets a career and sucking down martinis the whole time, but has all the stuff and the wife and the kids and the whole thing, and doesn't know either, dude. So what I would say is, the minute you put the drugs and alcohol to the body, you really don't know what's going to happen. It could trigger off a thing, and now you're here and you're like, oh my God, I am caught. And what do? Well, I would suggest that one of the things we need, you know, I grew up in the just say no reality of the 80s, right? You know, just say no, do dare, and all that kind of stuff, which I think killed a lot of people at the end and fueled drug addiction and alcoholism. Why? Because when they said yes, there was no way back. They basically wandered around in the woods. I'm saying, say yes, and know that you could get lost in the woods. I'm not promoting it. I'm just saying, if you're going to take this, it should be written on the can. If you choose to do this, which is your right, you might get lost. And this is what you should do if you get lost. Like, there should be a number on the back of every beer can. That's the help number, right? There should be on every, like that. Now that I'm saying that, that's insane that we don't, in our society, with the amount of alcoholism we have, that on every beer and booze thing, there isn't a help number. Because that's when you would actually call for help, is at the bottom of your bottle of Jack Daniels for the 7,000th night in a row at the campfire, and you see the number and you're like, dude, there's a way out. So that now that I'm saying that, I can't believe that nobody's pushing for that there should just be a number on the back of the can that offers the number that someone can call and get help. But that aside, it just, whoa, I got a Kramer moment there. Whoa. And so when we're doing that, that's why I'm not a say no, don't. I'm like, you're going to do what you're going to do. My advice, though, is understand that the potentiality for getting lost in the wilderness of drugs and alcohol and addiction and all this stuff is high. And the reason most people don't come back from it is because they keep wandering around while people are trying to help them, dude, walking in circles. So again, going back to the grid search party thing, right? So they go out in a grid in a search party, and what will happen is the person that's lost, instead of them staying where they are, right, and allowing the grid to find them, they move. And what they'll do is, like, the grid will be moving, and they'll move into a previously explored grid, and that grid will be X'd off as we looked there for that person, and they aren't there. And so now they're moving away from you when they were getting closer to you, because they would have gone down their grid and come back around and then got you on the next pass. But you were so busy being panicked about being lost. And I guess that's what I'm saying is if you're in the midst of it, of the alcoholism, the drug addiction, the addiction, the ism, whatever it is, stop moving for a second and allow help to come to you. Just allow help to come to you. If you've realized you're lost in the wilderness of your addiction, stop moving. Just stop for a second, pause, and allow help to come to you, dude, because help is out there. There's literally like a number in every town for you. There's like central office, your town, USA. There is a number. There is some clown like me sitting on the other side of that number who will come into the wilderness and rescue you, dude, if you want to be rescued. And that's the thing is the walking around with the thing is the denial of just go stop for a minute and allow God to do what God does. And I will tell you, dude, from my own experience, if you're in the midst of your alcoholism or drug addiction or ism or whatever it may be, if you stop wandering around in it because you know you have a problem and you actually accept that you're lost and get on your knees and just ask for help, not like, hey, I need some help here. Like, no, like get down into your soul and ask for help, and then just stay there. Like, that's the hugging of the tree, if you will. That's the hugging of the tree. You get down and you just ask whatever it is for you, God, the source, the nothingness, the void, the whatever it is, for help. Just help and allow that moment to crystallize and it to do what it is. The next indicated action will become clear because you won't be lost anymore. You'll be stationary in a findable spot, which is like realizing you have like the first step to decalcifying your pineal gland is to realize you have a pineal gland. The first moment of getting unlost is to accept that you're lost and stop pretending you can figure this out. You can't. You're lost. And so like explaining that to my son who's 9, that like, no, the secret, if you get lost, because I've had to tell, I go, look, man, like I encourage you to go out into the wilderness, dude, as a human being. And I'm just telling you, dude, like if you do get lost, just accept it and stop. Get shade, get water, and stop. And just listen and get ready to blow your whistle, dude. That's why you carried the water with you and your backup supplies. Anyway, so there's kind of where I'm going with today's thing, because again, I don't know where these things go. But let me just read some comments here and see what we got going on, dude. All right, what's going on, David, bro? D. Brune, man, my brother who found me in the wilderness, dude. Christian Tapp, thank you for taking the time to talk about this. Keep it going, man. Your sober self is your biggest ally. That's right, dude. We have so much time on this one. We should spread it and being in the moment. Yeah. Glad to catch a Wednesday live stream again. How's the Christian community? It's rad, dude. We got a solid one, dude. Hey guys, what happened to the illusion? I don't think you're on the right one, dude. It's not my Instagram. If you go to it, is here. Wait, hold on. On the I don't what is not. It's sneaky insects, dude. I don't think I ever had an illusion one, but wait, let me see. Where is notes? Where's that? Wait a second. Where are all my notes? Oh, here it is. Let's see, dude. And I'm curious. I haven't checked on any of these in a while, dude. Let's see. Spoonbender Academy might not be. Oh, fuck. What did I just do, dude? Uh-oh. Oh, dang, dude. What did I just do? How do you do rewind something once you what do you do when you hit something you want to go back, dude? Yeah, I kind of blew it right there. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm out. Oops. Shouldn't multitask. There's no such thing. Anyway, it's sneaky insects, man. Control Z, dude. Uh-oh. I don't know if I can control Z. Control Z. I might have blown it. Nope. I just got to put it back in there. Oops. I need to refresh all that stuff anyhow. It's time for a full reboot on all of it. Anyway, so we look at it thing, right? And the spiritual condition and the whole thing that we're about. Look. It's to maintain sobriety, which is the spiritual condition of connectivity to God, right? Like if I can describe what sobriety is, and again, I'm not expecting anyone who's new to this to even buy into this, dude. I'm just suggesting it as my own experience. My sobriety is totally dependent upon my spiritual condition to alleviate my emotional and mental disorder. Right? If my spiritual condition is out of whack, i.e., my connection to God, my mental and emotional state sucks, dude. I'm a dick, dude. I'm crazy. I'm resentful. I'm all the bedevilments. I'm all of these things, right? So in order to get to the moment, thank you, Ling and Phoebe, dude. Appreciate that. In order to get to maintain that is see, I'm okay. So like what, I'm almost 15 years into this game, 14 and a half years into the game, right? Like the odds of me going down to the liquor store and buying a 6-pack of beer is, I don't want to say it's zero. I would say it's pretty darn low. I'm not going to go. I could walk into the local bar down the street. I'm not going to get a drink, dude. I'm not. If the drug dealer on his motorcycle crashes at the end of my driveway and I walk out there and there's little baggies full of cocaine, I'm not going to do anything except probably pick him up and put him back in the dude's bag and just help him escape before the fuzz gets him, dude. Right? I like, what I'm getting at is I'm not affected by that anymore. Like I'm an alcoholic, so at any moment I could really lose my spiritual condition and begin to act on my emotional and mental state and completely F everything up to where I have moved so far away from my spiritual condition that actually drugs and alcohol seem like a solution to regain my spiritual condition. But the game, like today, the day I'm in, July 10th, I ain't tripping on that. What I am tripping on is my overwhelming inability to deal with the situation at hand without my connection to God, right? So like, you know, like we all got like, so when I started sobriety, I had zero debt, zero responsibilities, basically. My job in early sobriety was to get sober, go to work, come back, help out D. Brune at his sober living, do what I could do, go to meetings, be of service, all of those things, kind of maintain my baseline so that I could work on my sobriety, right? As I've gone on the course of the years, like I could crack open my book here, dude, my calendar of bills and debts and this and that and be horrified, dude. Freaked out. And in fact, I opened it today and was just like, and because I'm in a good spiritual condition right now, I view my overwhelming overhead of credit card bills and mortgages and car payments and insurance and all that stuff, not as a curse, but a proof of abundance, right? And that's what I mean is right. If you go into the promises of it, we no longer the promises, right? Let me pull up the promises really quick. We don't no longer fear these things, dude, right? We don't fear them because promises, a big book. All right, let's see what page is that on, dude. 83, 84. All right. Here, dude, this stuff's key, dude, right? So 83, 84, right? So like in the thing is, because I'm not going to drink anymore. That's not my problem. My problem is me sitting there and getting horrified by this life I've built in sobriety, dude, with children, cars, pools, cows, chickens. Dude, like that's what I mean. Like just like maintaining the garden, dude, is it's enough, dude. It's all. Where is it, dude? Where is it? What was it, dude? Hold on, man. 83, 84. Oh, wait, I'm on the wrong page, dude. Here we go. So this is so I gave you the getting lost in the woods. Okay, so now you've been found. Yeah. Okay. So you've been found in the woods, and the rescue team's come and gotten you, and you're back to the road, and your job now is, how do you not go walking back out in the woods to get lost again, right? And this is what we have for us, dude. If you are painstaking about this phase of our development, you will be amazed before you're halfway through. We're going to know a new freedom, a new happiness. We will not regret the past nor wish to shut the door on it. We will comprehend the word serenity, comprehend the word serenity, and we will know a new peace. No matter how far down the scale we have gone, we will see how our experience can benefit others. That feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear. We'll lose interest of selfish things and gain interest in our fellows. Self-seeking will slip away. Our whole attitude and outlook upon life will change. Fear of people and economic insecurity will leave us. We will intuitively know how to handle situations which used to baffle us. We will suddenly realize that God is doing for us what we could not do for ourselves. Are these extravagant promises? We think not. They're being fulfilled by sometimes among us, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. They will always materialize if we work for them. So that's the thing. So, like, if my spiritual condition is good, right, I can approach my life circumstances with some sort of sanity, right? So, like today, like when I cracked open the overwhelming book of bills, if you will, I didn't run from the room, and I sat there and was like, okay, this is proof of abundance, dude. My overwhelming financial burden right now is proof of abundance. It's inverted, right? Because I've been gifted an opportunity to do this situation that requires me to have an abundance in that direction, right? Because before I wasn't taking any chances, dude. I was just status quoing. I was a prisoner in my own creation with my little life, my little broken down red pickup truck with my surfboard and my skateboard hiding on top of some mountain, dude, with I don't know anybody. Why the world sucks and the whole thing. Now I go, yeah, I got big bills, dude. They overwhelm me, dude. And I go out there and because today I'm in a spiritual condition that I'll tell you what, like, so what is it, right? I opened up the book to pay one of my bank things, right? And it freaked me out. I was like, how am I going to pull this off, dude? How am I going to pull this off? And I was like, my spiritual condition was solid enough to go, dude, you should do Sober Wednesday again. Not for any other reason, but just to go be of service, dude, to go share your experience, strength, and hope with other human beings that it's going to be okay, dude. And that was where I was at. I did my thing. I paid my bill, and I was like, I had that moment of like, fear, right? That moment of I'm going to wander around in the forest, dude. So my wandering around the forest isn't alcohol anymore. My wandering around the forest is pretending that these things going on in my life aren't happening, dude, and that I can just put my head in the sand and pretend they'll go away. No, I got to go hug the tree and go, oh, it's okay. I'm in a forest full of trees, dude, right? And so that's where I'm like, okay, get back to the basics. What is it, right? This is a spiritual condition. Having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps. What's the spiritual awakening? The spiritual awakening is that everything else up to that point is pretty much like just stuff. And then when you've had the spiritual awakening, you realize that your mental condition isn't real, that your emotional condition isn't real, because they are insignificant to your spiritual condition, right? And it gets us back to we came here and the God-sized hole in your chest and all that stuff is our spiritual condition is of the utmost importance, right? And what do we do to maintain that spiritual conditions? Yeah, like we got to take care of ourselves. Diet's important. Again, is I think there's a certain level, and I've had to like regroup myself recently. Why am I back doing this again? Because my spiritual condition sucked for like the last 6 months, dude. My spiritual condition was questionable at best. So therefore my emotional and mental condition sucked. And that allowed my physical condition to fade, right? And these are all sort of wheels inside of wheels, right? Like if my spiritual condition's a big wheel, my emotional mental conditions are wheels inside of those wheels, but there's also my health and fitness wheel interplaying in those wheels and all those wheels. And so, you know, what helped, like today was the first day I couldn't go ride my bike at 6 a.m. this morning. Why? I got a flat tire, dude. Well, there's nowhere to go get flat tire tubes inner tire tubes up here where I live, dude. So I had to order them or drive an hour down the hill to go get it. Today was pretty rough for me because I didn't start out what I've been doing lately, which is to go outside in the morning, adjust my spiritual condition with the cows and the birds tweeting in the morning, and drink my coffee and try to just be still for the day. I didn't do that because I was like, my bike tire's flat. Like my mind had already come up with the reason why I'm not going to do the other stuff. It's like, well, why? I don't need to do that. I'm not going to go ride my bike this morning anyhow. And it gave everything else enough to jack up my spiritual condition, right? Which then became, I was out in the garden, then Owl lied to me about something minor, some stupid dude, but he didn't tell the truth, which made me get annoyed. And then my wife was like, oh boy, dude, here they go. And then she split when she went to take care of her spiritual condition. She went to the gym, went to a meeting, did what she needed to do. I adjusted my program, right, in the midst of all of that, and went the other direction with it. Instead of being angry and resentful and whatever, I went the other direction because I had enough spiritual fitness stacked up over the last week of doing all the things that I need to do with my physical and my emotional and my mental to kind of ride through this thing. So part of what I would suggest in this whole thing is what we're doing on a level is every day we wake up new. I can only speak for myself. Every day I wake up in a new spiritual condition. And I don't ever know what that's going to be. I can go to sleep in the best spiritual condition in the world, full of ideas and hopes. And this is bitching and red Camaro, dude. Ah. And then I wake up in the morning and it's like, this sucks. I don't feel great. I was up too late last night. I didn't drink enough water. Yellow beat down VW bug. This sucks. I'm lethargic. Whatever, dude. Right? So I don't know how I can't count on the previous day's checkout where I go to bed and everything's finger popping and count on that for the next day. So the best thing I can do for myself, I've found out over the course of time, is begin to stack up some credits, dude. Right? So I'd stacked up enough credits over the last week, right? Because I had my big reevaluation about a week ago of okay. And go, all right. When I go, well, what is it? I didn't ride my bike today, dude. I didn't do that first little morning routine. And my wife called me out about it right off the bat this morning. She's like, so, and I'm like, yeah, well, it's all right. I blew it off, right? Because I can't see myself. Self can't reveal self to self. It was only when there was only a moment in the thing where I caught a glimpse of the fact that I wasn't in my spiritual condition that allowed me to regroup into my spiritual condition. And what was it that shook me out of it? It was being of service to my son. It was going, hey, this is what you're working on. Let me dedicate time to working on that with you, dude. Let me be of service to you, dude. Right. And that got us moving in a different dynamic. And then my wife came back. She was in a good mood. And we said, I made some zucchinis for lunch and everything got back on track. but that's where it is my alcoholism isn't in a bottle anymore, dude. My alcoholism is hidden inside of my spiritual condition, dude. And I don't have the ability to see my spiritual condition until it's too late. And when it's too late, then my emotional and mental condition pile right in on that deficit and begin to mask and build this thing. And then I begin to get frustrated and angry or whatever it is. And it's very hard to break out of that cycle. And then that cycle can last 6 months. Next thing you know, it's 6 months later, and you're sitting in July before you finally get pissed enough at your own situation and stop blaming the outside issues and be like, no, it's me not acknowledging that I have a lack of spiritual fitness right now, and it's affecting my mental and my emotional state. And one way that I can adjust that is physically, right? So it's that thing of like how I jump started myself recently was I realized I was spiritually unfit, that I wasn't going to be able to do it mentally because the mind is just a battlefield. I wasn't going to be able to do it emotionally because that's not my real strong point. It was physical, which was like, go get on that bike and ride to the top of the overlook. Get the body to shift your physical chemistry to allow the endorphins and the synapses and the electricity to move around. And that will tune into your spiritual condition, which will which will lift your mental and emotional condition along with them, which will give you hopefully enough clarity to see what is going on, right? And again, that's that moment I had like a week ago where I woke up and I go, I am lost in the woods of my lack of spiritual condition. Stop pretending. Hug a tree, dude. Hug a tree, dude. And so I blew the whistle and I moved forward on that. So on that way, I forgot the serenity prayer in the beginning of this thing. So we're going to wrap this up. Thank you, David. I appreciate that, my brother. So we're going to get this back on 30. We got 33 viewers, dude. Let's get 33 thumbs up, dude. 33s across the board. Anyway, with that said, dude, let's God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen. All right. With that said, let's go get out and use the name tags, ask for help, hug a tree, let the search party find you. With that said, thank you for being here. Thank you for helping me participate in my own sobriety. With that said, God willing, we'll be back next Wednesday and we'll try to turn this into a regular thing. I think it's good for me. I hope it's good for you. With that said, everybody, good night, and God has blessed us. All right.